The silent thief stealing your bones, why calcium is not enough, and the protocol you need right now. Do you know what the most terrifying sound in aging actually is? It is not the siren of an ambulance or the beep of a heart monitor. It is the dry, sharp snap of a twig breaking. That is the sound of independence disappearing in a split second. According to the World Health Organization, for women over the age of 65, a hip fracture is not merely an orthopedic injury. It is a catastrophic life event. The statistics are sobering, and frankly, they should shock you. A significant percentage of seniors who suffer a hip fracture will never live independently again. One moment you are gardening or walking to the mailbox. The next you are navigating a complex medical system, facing surgery and looking at months of rehabilitation. You might believe your skeleton is as solid as concrete. You might think bone health is something you can worry about later. But if you are over 50, the reality inside your body might be very different. Your bones may currently look less like steel beams and more like a fragile, porous honeycomb that is slowly dissolving. We call this condition osteoporosis, but I prefer to call it the silent thief. It is silent because you cannot feel your bone density dropping. You do not feel your vertebrae compressing. There is no pain, no fever, and no warning light. The first symptom is often the last straw, the fracture itself. However, I am here to tell you that biology is not destiny. You are not powerless against this process. Your bones are not lifeless rocks. They are dynamic, living tissue that is constantly breaking down and rebuilding itself. The problem is that after age 30, the demolition crew in your body starts working faster than the construction crew. The biological process of resorption, where old bone is removed, begins to outpace formation, where new bone is laid down. By the time you reach 65, the demolition crew is winning. Our goal today is to fire the demolition crew and give the construction crew a massive raise. Here is the scientist's protocol for bulletproof bones, covering the 3 tests you must demand, the nutritional truth most people get wrong, and the specific movements that reverse aging. Phase 1, stop guessing and look at the data. You cannot manage what you do not measure, yet millions of seniors are flying blind regarding their skeletal health. You would not drive your car without a dashboard, so don't navigate aging without these 3 non-negotiable data points. The first is the dual energy X-ray absorptiometry scan. This is the gold standard of bone health. Stop waiting for a fracture to get this highly specialized X-ray assessment now. Ask your doctor for a baseline scan. It measures the bone mineral density at your hip and spine, the 2 areas most critical for mobility. You're looking for your T-score, which compares your bone density to that of a healthy young adult. If that number is between 0 and -1 standard deviation, you're in the green zone. If it's between -1 and -2.5, you have osteopenia, the warning zone. Anything below -2.5 is osteoporosis. If you are in the yellow or red zone, do not panic. Panic spikes cortisol, and cortisol literally eats bone tissue. Instead, use this data as your wake-up call to take action. The second test is your 25-hydroxy vitamin D level. You can drink all the milk in the grocery store, but if your vitamin D levels are low, your body cannot absorb that calcium. It will simply pass right through your digestive system. Most standard lab ranges will tell you that 30 nanograms per milliliter is sufficient. As a scientist focused on optimal health, I disagree. Sufficient is for survival. We want optimization. For robust bone protection, you should aim for a range between 40 and 60 nanograms per milliliter. The third test is one most people have never heard of, the C-Telopeptide test. While the dual energy X-ray absorptiometry scan tells you how much bone you have right now, the C-Telopeptide test tells you how fast you're losing it. It measures fragments of collagen in your blood that are released when bone is dissolved. If this number is high, your internal demolition crew is working overtime, and you need to intervene immediately with lifestyle changes or medication. It is the speedometer of your bone loss. Phase 2, the fuel, why calcium alone fails. Let's address the biggest myth in bone health: just drink more milk. This advice is outdated and incomplete. Think of your bone like a brick wall. Calcium is the brick. You can stack bricks up all day, but without mortar, that wall will crumble the moment you lean on it. The mortar is protein. Your bone is actually 50% protein by volume. It's a collagen matrix that provides the flexible structure for minerals to attach to. Without adequate dietary protein, you can't build this matrix. The tragedy is that as we age, our appetite for protein often drops, leading to sarcopenia, muscle loss, which almost always parallels bone loss. You need to target approximately 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. That means prioritizing eggs, Greek yogurt, lean meats, or tofu at every single meal. Furthermore, we need to talk about the traffic cop of bone health, vitamin K2. We already know that vitamin D opens the door for calcium to enter your bloodstream. But once calcium is in your blood, it needs direction. Without guidance, calcium can end up in your arteries or kidney stones, causing heart disease. Vitamin K2 activates a protein called osteocalcin, which grabs that calcium and physically directs it into the bone tissue where it belongs. It keeps your arteries soft and your bones hard. You can find vitamin K2 in fermented foods like natto, hard cheeses, or high-quality supplements. Phase 3, the stimulus, Wolff's Law. You have the diagnosis and you have the fuel. Now you need the spark. There is a fundamental principle in physiology called Wolff's Law. It states that your bones will adapt based on the loads under which they are placed. If you sit on the couch, your body assumes you don't need strong bones, so it dissolves them to save energy. To trigger growth, you need impact and resistance. Walking is wonderful for your heart and for your mood, but it's often not enough of a stimulus for bone density because your body is very efficient at walking. Your bones need to be surprised. The first exercise to introduce is the heel drop. It sounds almost too simple to be effective, but the physics are undeniable. Stand tall, rise up on your toes, and then drop your heels firmly onto the floor. Thud. That impact sends a jolt of vibration up through your shins and into your hip socket. This vibration creates a tiny electric charge that signals your bone cells to lay down more density. Aim for 20 repetitions a day. It's the easiest osteogenic exercise in existence. The second movement is the sit to stand. This targets the hips and thighs. Sit in a sturdy chair with your arms crossed over your chest. Stand up explosively, fast and strong. Then sit down very slowly, taking a full 3 seconds to descend. That slow, controlled lowering is the secret sauce. The tension creates a massive pull on the tendon attachments, which pulls on the bone, forcing it to thicken and reinforce itself. Conclusion: reclaiming your future. Aging is inevitable, but frailty is optional. The goal of this protocol is not just to see a better number on your dual energy X-ray absorptiometry scan next year. The goal is to be the grandparent who can pick up their grandchild without fear. The goal is to possess a body that allows you to travel, garden, and live life on your own terms, completely independent. Don't let the silent thief rob you of your future. Schedule your dual energy X-ray absorptiometry scan and C-Telopeptide test. Prioritize your protein intake, ensure optimal levels of vitamin D and K2, and start thumping those heels today. Your skeleton is the frame of your life's house. Treat it with the respect it deserves, and it will support you for decades to come.